I need to have some response, whether I'm audible or students are actually listening.
Yes, sir,
Yes,
you're
sir,
audible.
very well audible, and the CR has already put a message in the group.
Okay, better. Thank you. Because the network is not there with the laptop as of now. This generally happens when you call faculty at odd times, right? Okay, so we can just proceed, right? So, uh, in the last class, when we were discussing about this concept of codification, and I was discussing about progressive development of international law and codification processes, right? So, and then I was saying that the initial thought behind this particular idea was of Bentham's, right? When he submitted in his work that there shall be a process of codification in his work of principles of international law. When he coined the term, at the same point of the time, he also made a proposal that in the near future, the state should work together to reach out to certain consensus towards codification of international law. And then I said that there are various other agencies also involved, right? Say, for example, Institute de Droit International, International Law Association, and Harvard Research in International Law. Each of these institutions played significant role towards codification process of international law. Much of this had already been done on behalf of the Hague Conventions also. The multiple Hague Conventions that took place, they were also a kind of help towards codification, which started from 1889 till 1907. And with the formation of League of Nations, there was already an idea which was floating at that point of a time as to how codification processes must be, like, followed under the realm of international law, because much of those customs and treaties were part of international law but were not being informed at large. In black and white, they were not being available. So this particular idea was also found with respect to the drafting of the Charter of United Nations. Therein, we have seen Article 13, Clause 1, Subclause A, which specifically talks about General Assembly and its role towards study, as well as recommendations. Right? Both of these two aspects have been referred over there. And with respect to recommendation itself, it says that efforts must be made towards progressive development of international law and at the same point of a time, its codification. Now, there were states who were quite apprehensive of this. They said that we do not want to have such power being transferred or such power being shared with a international body like United Nations, and thereafter transferring them with legislative powers of lawmaking. Right? There were other states who were saying that even if they will be working on legislative measures, it must not be construed in a manner that those legislative measures must be compelled against the state. Right. So a middle path is what is your Article 13, Clause 1, Subclause A. Right. Now, what happened with this particular clause? It gave power. Now you need to have an agency, right, which will further assist General Assembly with respect to codification and progressive development of international. There was another apprehension by few states wherein they said that both of these two aspects, codification as well as progressive development of international law, do not have any distinction as such. They are part of it. But remember, in my early lecture to this particular topic of codification of international law, therein I was referring this particular concept that yes, uh, these two terms have been taught with an idea that uh, with an idea I've been admitting it, Mandeep. Yeah, now he's there. So with an idea that, like, certain parts of international law are still not proper enough to make it in the form of black and white. And that's where progressive development of international law as a phrase comes into picture. They have yet not followed those particular practices in their regular habits. One of the example is your, like, the entire framework and draft pertaining to state responsibility. That was one of the first agenda of international action, right? If you will remember that particular thing in the first lecture itself, the introductory lecture of codification, one of the first agenda of International Law Commission. Yet what happened is it is still not being accepted by state. It is still at that process of drafting. Initial efforts were to put both criminal liability of a state as well as civil liability. But over the course of a time, what has happened is that only civil liability of a state is something which states have agreed altogether towards its enforcement. Now they believe the criminal part should not be taken care of by an agency because this is something which is still in progress. One of the lively example of this is not many states, and at least not powerful states, are part of that Rome Statute because they still believe that this is an area of international law which still requires further development. Largely, when you'll see the structure of Rome Statute and member states to that particular Rome Statute, you will find out that they are greatly African states, third world states, and developing states, barring few developed states, right? And in fact, over there also, the recent trend has been few of the African states, they want to move out from that particular Rome Statute, and they have already submitted their application, right? Because majorly what has been seen over the years since the inception of International Criminal Court, majority of the cases were filed against the leaders of these third world states. There has been no answerability for others who are equally involved in those crimes which has been listed under Article 4 of ICC Rome Statute, right? There is not more anything beyond what has been referred over there to be construed as international crime for the purpose of ICC. So there had been few scholarly writing wherein you find out additional requirement of including many more crimes should be part of the mandate of ICC, but by and large, states are not ready enough to accept it. So this is a process which many states believe, especially developed states believe, is still in a process of its development, progressive development, right? Not yet, which has been found in a regular habit of a state. So that's what is progressive development of international law. And its codification, you can find it in the form of Rome Statute, you can find it in the form of the Law of Seas Convention, you can find it in the form of various human rights, convention declarations, right? All of them form part of that particular aspect. Now, General Assembly did what? Now they said they moved a proposal, right? The first meeting itself of the General Assembly, there was a resolution passed, resolution number 94, right? If this particular slide would have been there, it would be better. But resolution number 94 is crucial. And it is because of that particular resolution number 94, Committee of Progressive Development of International Law and Codification was formed. And that committee is famously been known as Committee of 17. There were 17 member states who were involved in the process, in this particular process, right? Which is Committee on the Progressive Development of International Law and its Codification, right? So that committee held almost roughly, so this particular effort was made in 31st of January 1947, and it took almost 10 months or more than 10 months for states to agree that there shall be a law commission, because on the basis of 30 meetings that this Committee of 17 held, it was recommended that there should be an international law commission, right? An international law commission must be established. This is the suggestion of this particular committee, right? Just give me a few seconds. I think I have connected now. I can connect it and I can also share this screen with you. Now, this particular law committee, this 330 meetings and with its ultimate recommendation for the establishment of law commission was quite crucial for the establishment of law commission, and particularly the idea which was there in the Charter of United Nations, Article 13, Clause 1, Subclause A. Now, this particular committee came in existence in 21st of November 1947, which is roughly more than 10 months since the General Assembly Resolution number 94-1 for the establishment of this committee, right? So this particular like institution was referred and it established the International Law Commission. The purpose of International Law Commission is referred under Article 1. Now, in your file section, I have shared with you the ICC statute as well. In the first semester section, if you'll see, you will find the ICC statute also referred over there, right? So the first article refers to the purpose, the objective of this particular institution, which was crucial for the development of international law, progressive development of international law. At the same point of a time, is also relevant and crucial for the codification processes, and they have done tremendously better in this particular regard. Just give me a second. I've been connecting through my so I've now connected with my laptop as well. Is the screen visible? The laptop, it's visible now, right? Just give me a second. I will log out from here and then join it from there, right? Yeah. So now this is visible. I can share my screen as well. The screen is visible, right?